Saggies. Hi, this is Marta with Universal Power Tarot, and these messages are supposed to encourage, elevate, and empower you guys. Hi, how are you doing? My dear Saggies, we already have 2 cards out. Of course, we pre-shuffled all of your cards and set them with the intention to bring healing, to bring blessings. And your card is oneness. And then interestingly enough, the other card is Kanyini. In each other, we find ourselves. And these two are strongly connected because, this is denoting so much to oneness already. So someone you dearly miss is forever present in your heart. Remember, dearest one, that even though there has been a physical parting, spiritually, those we love never leave us. Creation is eternal. Nothing is ever truly missing, for all is interconnected and ultimately one. So what this means to me is, for example, when it comes to forgiveness, even if that person is no longer in your life for whatever reason, you can still make it right in a sense. You can still, with yourself, that is. You don't need the other person for forgiveness. You don't need the other person to feel oneness, even if they don't at all. That's not required. And I think you know this already, but this is a reminder from spirit to you. So just so you know, because the other is a mirror to us and can also be, like a milestone in our life, in our journey. And also when it comes to past lives, they're a check-in point. How far have you come when it comes to this person? I have a strong feeling that a certain connection is over. Like it's over and done. It has taught you the lesson that it needed to teach you, Sagittarius, and now you're off to something new. And this can feel interesting because it's definitely spiritual law above man's law. So human laws don't necessarily apply to these kinds of things, and it can be like miraculously to be dissolved like on the energetic level, and then it will show up energetically and physically also, like on the earthly plane. And what I got for you is calm yourself. All is well. Golden, what they gave me. You're right where you need to be. Okay, so with Kanyani, let me read that one to you. In each other, we find ourselves. And I'm actually going to hold it up because the card is quite pretty and the lighting is just right. I'm particularly drawn to the baby here, the infant, and the older woman. So there's something about a generational ancestral stuff that's going on, either that may be popping up or you just have such a strong ancestral connection here going, and that you may have, brought about, because it doesn't mean that it was vital all the time. It could also mean that you brought it back to that vitality by connecting to your ancestors, by tapping into that line. You can also ask that line for help, by the way. Just phone them real quick. No, just tap into their energies real quick and ask them for help. It doesn't have to be like immediate family. It could be like 500 years back or more. And you'll find the line is quite strong there still. There is a spiritual purpose that only you can fulfill, Sagittarius. As you move forward on your journey, you create space for others to move along behind you. And as the ones ahead of you move forward, yeah, exactly, the baby and the grandma, yeah. So too does room open up for your expansion. Upon this earth, we are all building the sacred temple, each fulfilling our tasks as we assist and support each other in our collective divine mission. And this doesn't necessarily require, all the positive support. This is also something that we would call like negative support, meaning some lesson that's quite challenging that you're going through in order to evolve. Because when we're challenged, this is when we see our true colors and theirs. This is when our true strength, steps forward, because otherwise we don't need that. And here you had a chance to really tap into your strength, or you still currently do, depending on where you are in your journey. And that really shows you something about yourself, or showed something and brought something forth, but not just, it brings great blessings with it too, because you're now having the abilities of, past lives that you have lived, those uncovered within yourself, which is amazing, integrated within yourself. And that's quite the gift. So you did really, really well. How can you help with your heart most actively engaged? What can you offer which inspires and energizes you so much that others are uplifted in your presence? How can you receive from others joyfully, bringing them pleasure? Engage in giving and receiving deeply and with devotion. Your wisdom and openness to life generates healing for our earth. And for you, that means specifically, Sagittarius, that healing is indicated, especially of wounds about connection and trust, safety and tribe, belonging and permission to be a unique individual. Now, at a physical level, that means more vitality is indicated and ample energy is available for healing. At a spiritual level, a deepening awareness of unified consciousness is opening up within you, which will bring you into deeper divine communion and increase your effectiveness as a healing presence and sacred activist in this world. Interesting. And this is not the easiest journey to undertake. I understand that. So let me see what the tarot has to say. Like I said, I already pre-shuffled the cards. I'm sorry it's a bit loud on this table. Let me see what we have for you, Saggies. Here we go. Oh, 10 of Wands. Okay. So being burdened, feeling like having to carry the load all on your own is what I'm seeing here. Although there could be others, but it's just like they chose not to lift a finger is what I'm getting. And I'm getting resentment with that. I'm getting frustration with that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. There's something Saturn that is influencing you right now. It's interesting because that carrying of all those wands made you so strong, because she in that picture doesn't strike me as necessarily, all that burdened. She seems to be carrying that quite gracefully. So you must have gone through the process quite gracefully here. And it made you really, really strong. It made you really strong. And it's like almost what I'm seeing here, you're carrying a tree trunk. And that tree trunk is reflected over here. So you have the ability to do this, and you can from the process that you've recently been through. And the leadership here is strongly indicated with the deer here, because you can now lead people. It's like if you become, the owner of a company, or if you're in a leading position, then you learn about, team skills, you learn how to do each individual position, and that helps you to really truly lead a team well. You must have been through the situations to understand how the team works well, right? But to also start to delegate, because you don't have to do all of this by yourself. Yes. Yeah, 6 of Wands, exactly. That's the leadership position right there. People are looking up to you. People are listening to you. You're like, hey, I'm carrying 2 now. How about you guys carry the other wands, right? And you show them how to do this too, because you've learned, right? You've been through the tough lessons of life, and now you can show others. And this is also, funnily enough, how you show up energetically, right? That people are automatically drawn to you as a natural born leader, but they fail, or sometimes fail to see maybe that you had to walk through like quite a harsh path here in order to be where you are. And because you're showing up as, yes, I can easily do this. It's not a problem for me. But I feel there's so much work that went into this whole process for you to finally show up in the 6 of Wands in that leadership position for others. And again, it's not just for yourself. And you're quite aware of this, Sagittarius. It's not just for yourself. This is serving a higher purpose here. And I believe your path is stepping more into that higher purpose and finding out more about it. Now, you may know some of it, but there's like a great deal more that is to come into your awareness. But it's interesting too, because like the 10 of Wands are indicating this can be ruthless processes sometimes, right? Where we're just going through it, not knowing where we're going. But interesting, not knowing where we're going, right? With the moon. Yeah, not knowing where we're going. And because you've been through these processes, you can go through them again. And each process makes you stronger. And you could have not, gone to that level that you are at now, like right at the beginning. You couldn't. But now you can. Just know that you do have the strength to pull all of that off. Whatever life and spirit throws your way, know that you're well equipped to do it. With the moon, there are secrets that are being revealed, or something that is still a bit in the unknown here for you, Saggies. But just know and be aware that you will come those secrets will be revealed to you. Just give it a little bit of time, okay? And there may also be, like I mentioned too, you may have walked a path that you didn't know where it was leading to. So completely, based in faith and in trust and, in the divine and in just your abilities. And this seems to be becoming more prominent here. Your ability to have trust and to have faith. If you've ever seen someone who really trusts, who really has faith, it's a different matter. It's much more easy to follow that person. And that's what I see here for you. What's that movie called? I just recently watched a movie where her name was Harriet, or it used to be Minty, and she after she freed herself, it's a movie about slavery. I forgot the name of it, but then she turns, she runs away, and she makes the whole journey, and she all the while speaking to God, and God protecting her and leading her on her journey. She's talking directly to him, or her, or it, or them, and then she comes back because God is telling her to come back. Sends her images of her fiance. It turns out, as she's coming back to the plantation and free more slaves, first of all, they call her Moses because she's freeing so many slaves. But and this is so interesting because if you know anything about Moses in the Bible too, that has a very strong position because he's freeing his people, right? And I can see that for you here too, in whatever form or capacity this is occurring for you, but this is quite significant, Sagittarius. And so she's coming back with the image of thinking she's going to free her fiance when really he already took another wife. So there's quite a bit of pain involved for her, but she's then realizing there are, 6 other slaves that really need to come with her. And that's why God sent her that image, so she would go back and free them. And then her life turns into something else entirely. And there's this moment where her mother says, "This is not my Minty." When she sees her again, "This is not my Minty. My Minty is a plain girl." And I just remember thinking in that moment, wow, the whole growth journey, she's not a plain girl whatsoever anymore. She's like the leader in a revolutionary movement, and quite significant. And what you can grow into from total oppression into total strength and self government, basically. And that's what I see you do here. It's like, screw those wands, right, Sagittarius? And it's just you threw them back. There's no more burdening you here. It's like you're not even wearing clothes anymore in this deck. It's just like freeing yourself of all that stuff you no longer need. You needed the experience. You needed the wisdom that came from the experience. But now it's time for you to really step forward and into the new. And that is precisely what we're going to inquire about in the extended. I'm going to pull more cards to find out where this leads if it wants to be revealed, but I'm definitely going to pull more cards to help you with this journey and to help you see. Yeah, I really hope this was helpful and or insightful to you, my dear Saggies. If you want to follow us over to Patreon, you can. You're welcome to. It's linked down below in the description box. And if not, I really hope this portion of the reading was helpful to you. And thank you for being here. And I'll see you next time. We're over on Patreon. Bye. Bye-bye.